Want to know why marriage is for mature folks? Marriage is for mature folks because the level of sacrifice that's required. Because in order for a successful marriage to thrive and be conducted in the way that God designed it, right? Not the world, but God. It requires a level of submission from both parties in order for the marriage to thrive and be sustainable. And if both parties aren't willing, able, and ready to submit in that form of fashion, in that agreement, in that way in which a marriage is conducted, then it's not going to work. Marriage in which the way God designed it, the way that covenant is designed by God, it requires a level of maturity and understanding that in order for this thing to live, in order for this agreement to live and thrive in the way which God designed it, I have to know how and be ready for and master the art of dying to myself, because submission is not easy for the flesh. And a person has to, one, have picked the right person that also knows how to die to themselves. Because if you're the only one dying in the covenant agreement under God, that's an institution that you entered into with the wrong party, with somebody that's not willing to give for the covenant to live, not willing to give of themselves in order for the covenant to live. And it's just like, we think that, especially women, we would think that if we're not married, then by a certain age or by a certain time, then it's something wrong with us. When no, it's just requires, anybody can be married, but in order for a marriage to live sustainably and to thrive in the way God intended, it requires maturity. It requires that level of sacrifice, of giving of yourself, in order for this agreement, this covenant, this institution that I'm vowing to be a part of under God, in order for that to live, I have to die to myself. We have to be comfortable with dying to ourselves. And not a lot of people are ready for that. And not a lot of people are willing. And not a lot of people know. Like what I didn't know. Well, not a lot of people know about what marriage is actually entails and what it requires. We're not often taught these things, and God is teaching me. This is why singleness is so important, is because in singleness, that's where we learn as individuals and our individual covenant and agreement with Him, how to die to ourselves, how to put this flesh under subjection and be submitted to His authority first. Because marriage is just another level of that. It's not that, it's not about all the fluff and the propaganda that we think about when we think about marriage. No, it's just another level of how willing are you willing to die to your flesh for God. I just wanted to, that was something that like literally hit me while I was, in reflection, reflecting on just what God is taking me through right now. And I'm like, that's, that's just a whole nother level of submission and dying to yourself. And that's only something I want to enter into, knowing first and foremost this is God's will for me, that this is also a person that has the understanding. I'm entering into it with a person that also has the understanding that this is what it requires for this thing to live. Because if you enter it in with the wrong mindset, and or with somebody that also has the wrong mindset, then it's too risky. Like you're risking your soul, you're risking the very being of who you are, just to get in just to have a covenant with somebody. Like these things, I think we just think about terminology, certain terms, too loosely, too easy, like too haphazardly. Like we're not giving it the thought and the understanding that it really deserves. And part of that is because of insecurities that we never worked out, trauma that we may have experienced and we've never gained the right perspective or God's perspective behind it. And it's just something that many of us haven't given much attention to, because it pokes and pries and picks at those wounds that many haven't dealt with, so to speak. Because honestly, it is enough being single. Like, because that's like saying, that's, if you have the understanding of what it actually requires to be married, being single is enough. It's like dying to yourself for whatever God's will is for your life is enough. Is enough. Like, but saying you want to be married is like asking God, like, hey God, I want to die to myself more. You know what I mean? Like, it's the way we interpret it and the way it actually is has to be corrected. We have to correct our thinking and understanding and get in alignment and get more in agreement with what actually is, which is whatever God says. Like, how God looks at it is what we should be praying for, how we should be praying to look at it. Singleness, marriage, relationships, any kind of agreement, covenant, institution, or any kind of sacred anything. We just want to get God's perspective on it, because when we don't have God's perspective on it, it's too dangerous. It's too risky. Like, I need God's perspective on this. And if I don't understand it, God, help me to understand it. And if I'm feeling some kind of way, God, help me to process these emotions that is telling me one thing and it's in disagreement and out of order of what you actually say it is. Because I want to be in your will, but I'm feeling this, or what is this actually that I'm feeling? Because I'm telling you, without dealing with your insecurities, without facing, your heart issues, it's going to land many people in situations, places, situations, positions that is not ordained for their life, that is not in alignment with God's will for your life. And I'm just sharing this with you guys because there's too many people getting married for the wrong reasons, or shall I say, there's too many souls that are entering into a covenant agreement without having the full understanding, and that still hasn't received the right level of the right way in which God wants us to use the things that He's given us. He gives us marriage as tools. He gives us singleness as tools. Like, these are tools that God wants us to use and utilize here. Get this, not for us, but for His will, for His agenda, for His glory, and for His glory alone. Y'all, I'm getting out this car because it's time to get out this car. I've been sitting here for a while, but I wanted to share that with y'all. I pray that blesses somebody that may have been battling with discontentment with singleness. Listen, you begging for your spouse, you begging for whatever you're discontent with right now, or your singleness, or you begging for more. To whom much is given, much is required. You asking God for more, and it's like asking God for more responsibility. And just be careful. You asking for more responsibility. Are you ready for that responsibility? Because when you are ready, God will give you, He will give it to you. He will give you the responsibility if it's in His will for you. Once you have the understanding, the correct interpretation of what God purposed these things for. We have to get the right understanding. All right. That blessed me. I pray it blessed y'all. I pray it blessed somebody. Yeah, and I pray y'all having a beautiful, beautiful afternoon going into the evening. All right, I love y'all, and I'll talk to y'all soon.